Hi, my name is Mary. Today FM plays the best music in Lambasa. Today FM rocks.
My name is Thomas. I'm here in Nakasi and I like to listen to Today FM because it rocks.
My name is Milenia. Today FM rocks here in Singatoka.
My name is Alfripi and Today FM rocks here in Tavua.
My name is Mary Jane. I love listening to Today FM here in Ba. Today FM rocks.
My name is Ilay Tiambal and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks here in Osur.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, Minister lashes out at opposition for their response to the 2018-2019 national budget. Teachers terminated due to unethical behaviour and transparent process in place for selection of advisory councillors.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Smith.
The Economy Minister lashed out at the opposition, criticising their lack of ideas in response to the 2018-2019 national budget. Ayah Said Qayyum accused the left wing for introducing racism, lies and obfuscation of facts and figures in Parliament. Akusita Tale reports the minister hit back at some of the election budget responses.
The Constitution is completely ignored by omitting any reference to God Almighty.
Opposition MP Rokini Viliame Kiliraki has been criticized for his interpretation the government is godless because the 2013 Constitution does not refer to God. However, Section 22 of the Constitution highlights every person has a right to freedom of religion, conscience and belief. Ayah Said Qayyum says it's all hypocrisy.
We have people talking about families, but the leadership of the SVT and some of the ministers of SDL broke the marriage vows every night, or probably on a weekly basis. This is the level of hypocrisy, Madam Speaker. They talked about equal citizenry, but there's blatant racism practice, Madam Speaker, at administrative and political level.
He also questioned how Sodalpa leader Sitiveni Rambuka can return to politics after the collapse of the NBF, claiming he had a direct hand of putting in place people who had no understanding of running a bank.
This is the most disastrous mishandling of the economy we have ever seen in our history. And yet the same leader is shamelessly vying to lead the country again. But the public know the true character, Madam Speaker, of this person and will not be fooled again. What transpired then was totally irresponsible, Madam Speaker. And they have the audacity to call this budget irresponsible.
The minister also took a swipe at claims of the budget being a racist one.
Everything that the opposition and their analysis and the contribution lacks merit. It lacks credibility. And therefore the analysis of the budget is simply driven by political machinations and considerations. How can we object to a budget that allows increasing maternity leave?
It's going very well, and I know the budget will be passed.
Meanwhile, the Parliament is currently going through each allocation of the national budget before members will vote to pass it on Friday. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
The Economy Minister has lashed out at the opposition for failing to utilise the Parliament as a platform to create opportunities for Fijians to grow. Minister Ayah Said Qayyum claims on many fronts in the last 4 years the opposition has chosen to resort to racism, lies and obfuscation of facts and figures. Rachel Nath has more.
The Economy Minister expressed his disappointment over the lack of collective contribution and new ideas submitted from the opposition.
We've had, Madam Speaker, racism in Parliament. We've had all sorts of lies being portrayed in Parliament. We'd have obfuscation of figures, obfuscation of facts, Madam Speaker. That has been the characteristic for the past 4 years. And Madam Speaker, it is with great melancholy that I stand here to speak. In fact, I do not even feel like speaking, given the quality of the submissions from the other side.
The opposition has refuted the minister's claims.
I believe we've done our part. It's very hard to be in a situation where the majority is so much and the minority is so little that no matter what we come up with, they will vote against it, vote against it, vote against it, even though we know it's good.
And just to put a blanket response like that, to brand all those statements as lies, it's something that probably should not have been made.
Yeah, we did according to the time that we were given, according to our responses in Parliament.
The minister also expressed his disappointment with the opposition MPs regarding the quality of responses on the 2018-2019 national budget. Rachel Nath, FBC News.
It's been revealed some teachers have recently been terminated for alleged sexual assault and corporal punishment. This was revealed in Parliament last night by Education Minister Said Qayyum in response to the opposition's call to remove civil service contracts. Akusita Tale reports.
2 teachers have been terminated for allegedly sexually assaulting students.
Just this week, while sitting, just yesterday and last week also, I had to agree to the termination of a teacher who got primary school kids who he was teaching, got them to drop their pants and play with their testicles. I had to agree to the termination of another person who fondled some high school girl.
Said Qayyum revealed these issues in response to opposition MP Asiri Randronro suggesting to award contracts to civil servants irrespective of their performance.
Following the new contract, they had made personal commitments. The advertising of positions afterwards, resulting in acting allowances, being seized, for example, has affected their commitments accordingly.
We are not running a charity. If you work in the private sector, you don't perform, you don't get your contract renewed. Why should it be different for the civil service? Who are you concerned about? The 894,000 Fijian citizens who the civil servants are supposed to serve? Or are we worried about a handful of people who are not performing?
He also highlighted there were incidents such as teachers banging students' heads against desks, walls and even rubbish bins. He has confirmed investigation in these cases is currently underway. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama has reiterated government's stance on the privatization of schools and their exemption from financial assistance. In a tour in the north last week, the Prime Minister clarified the issue after concerns were raised by some parents from Vatu Vonu Secondary School in Dakaundrove who learned that the school run by the Seventh-day Adventist Church is to be privatized. The PM says while he has no say in the church's decision to privatize, once they do, they will be ineligible for government grants.
If that is to happen, they'll have to separate themselves from government grant and government assistance. They'll have to pay for their own teachers, but we really don't want to do that across the board. I mean, to get religious schools to look after their own teachers, because it'll create havoc with the education department.
Minister for Rural and Maritime Development Inia Seruratu has clarified that there is a transparent process in the selection of advisory councillors. In replying to questions posed by NFP leader Professor Biman Prasad regarding such appointments, Seruratu said a selection process is always in place. Ali Kimbia with the story.
Professor Biman Prasad claims there was no transparency in selecting advisory councillors. However, Seruratu says this isn't true.
And that is why this has always been a very sensitive issue. But let me go back to the process. For advisory councillors, the problem, Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, let me also say here, some advisory councillors think that they are advisory councillors for life. That's wrong.
Prasad also claimed that some advisory councillors working in Lambasa are campaigning for the Fiji First Party. Seruratu says advisory councillors have the right to any political affiliation.
Some of them are going out and actually saying that they are working for the Fiji First Party. And there's one advisory councillor who actually carries a card.
But that does not mean that their political affiliation influences the way they do their work. They are there to serve the communities, and that's the most important thing that we consider. It is a contribution to the community, and everybody is there to serve the community.
Seruratu confirms the government is in the process of selecting the final candidates for the various vacant advisory positions. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
Still to come, Employment Minister gives logistics of the family care leave entitlement, and stats reveal heart disease claims over 1,400 lives annually. Stay with us.
Bula, nevang gomal kay leloma, gongay nakas untuk makarong ng Bula FM, nambang dua yan na seri.
Hoya ubasit sai sa Lambasa, ya untuk talita na warong ng Bula FM, nambang dua yan na seri.
Guya do tumeli, ako na tao no hinga toka, talita kina na warong ng Bula FM, nambang dua yan na seri.
Wala na tunga ng Bula FM, nambang dua yan na seri, nambang.
Na vengo fani na tau nyongo singatoka kita untuk TALICA ka Bula FM number 2 na sere.
Bula FM number 2 na sere.
Employment Minister Chone Osumate has today clarified the logistics of the family care leave entitlement of 5 days announced in the new budget. Osumate says the fully paid leave can be taken consecutively or spaced out throughout the year, dependent on the family's needs. Kelly Vavala reports.
The family care leave was one of the new announcements in the national budget, and the Employment Minister has outlined some of its requirements.
The worker is entitled to paid family care of not less than 5 working days. It can be accumulated. For a worker to be entitled to family care leave, the worker must, as soon as reasonably practicable, notify the employer of his or her absence or intended absence and the reasons for it. That's what it says.
Osumate also highlighted some of the circumstances under which the leave can be applied for.
If your son has is he sick, you have to take him to the hospital, or maybe he might have some function at school, the parents' day or something like that. Instead of dipping into your other leaves, you'll be able to utilize it. So that's obviously good for workers and their family members.
Meanwhile, Attorney General Said Kayum clarified the parental leaves that can be taken under the new civil service reforms.
Maternity leave is only 1 week, but maternity leave is longer. It's now going to be 98 days.
Parliament is currently debating a bill to amend the Employment Relations Act to include the new leave entitlements, which could come into effect in the new financial year. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
After diabetes, which claims about 1,700 lives annually in Fiji, coronary heart disease is the second highest contributor to Fiji's mortality rate. Diabetes Fiji Chair Tabish Akbar revealed that coronary heart disease claims over 1,400 lives annually. Kritika Kumar reports.
Diabetes Fiji Chair Tabish Akbar says around 400 lives are lost due to stroke every year, while around 300 deaths are recorded for kidney disease.
We need to reiterate at this point that all of these three are also related to diabetes. So diabetes can be seen as one of the major causes.
Akbar says in order to be a healthier nation, there is a vital need to change our eating habits and lifestyles.
We need to all get in together to try and work this number down so that we can have a much more productive and efficient country.
Meanwhile, the Fiji National University's surgical professor says kids and adults need to be educated on healthy living in order to battle the killer diseases.
Education of our kids, education of our people, and I hate to say it, enforcement of getting yourself fit, losing weight. And we can focus in on the armed forces, on our nurses.
As a country well known for sporting skills, it is shocking that Fiji is vulnerable to diseases related to inactivity and bad eating habits. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
More than $700,000 has been recovered this year from employers identified as not complying to labour laws. This is such as payment for overtime, meal allowances and FMPF deductions. Employment Minister Chone Osumate says effective enforcement of labour law compliance will be ongoing for the Labour Standard Services. Osumate says an allocation of $3.4 million to the Labour Standard Services in this new financial year will ensure decent employment is a reality for Fijians.
A total of 3,439 labour inspections were conducted from last year into this year. This is part of our proactive work which will continue in the new financial year.
The Food for Less supermarket on Rodwell Road, Suva, has closed for business after 20 years. Food for Less and the building owners, Kelton Investment Limited, were in a legal battle for the past 8 years. In April this year, the High Court ruled in favour of the Kelton Investment Limited and ordered the supermarket to vacate the premises. Managing Director Rudra Prasad says he had made up his mind to leave the industry a few years ago as his lease was coming to an end in December this year.
I decided 4 years ago that I would not renew my lease, and once my lease is up for renewal, I'll give it up, because I planned my retirement. It didn't happen overnight. It did not happen because of the judgment. I had it planned.
The Max Value Supermarket has opened its 22nd outlet at the Old Harvest Supermarket along Khalsa Road in Asinu today. Carpenters Group Retail and Marketing Director Kuna Sabaratnam says this outlet has opened in a joint venture with the Harvest Supermarket through the Christian Mission Fellowship International. Sabaratnam says this is the 150th anniversary of the supermarket and they plan to come up with innovative ideas to open new satellite stores. He says 45 staff members have been employed at the supermarket.
This is our latest joint venture with our supermarket. It's a new project that we have taken on board. We call it the satellite stores, and where we are open for people who have maybe 1-2 stores who want to do a joint venture with us, so that we can work together and expand the business, and also both parties benefit together.
In Sports Later with Jamie, France is through to the World Cup final, but up next is Rachel with business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up after the break. Papua New Guinea interested in expanding business opportunities with Fiji. And in growing Fiji, NADI fire station gets transportation boost. Stay with us.
Lola, I am Eleanor. For the best classic hits, I only listen to Gold FM here in Singapore. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Seni Rawa. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Dino. I'm from Outrigger, Coral Coast, Singapore. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Salote. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Bula, my name is Marida. Gold FM plays the best classics here in Outrigger, Singapore.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
In business tonight, Papua New Guinea has expressed a vested interest in expanding business opportunities with Fiji. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill says PNG is working on developing its agriculture, tourism and hospitality sectors, which are Fiji's strength areas. O'Neill adds, with Fiji having comprehensive experience in these areas, PNG would like to work with us to learn and better their own industries. O'Neill welcomed Fiji's business interest in PNG.
Governments don't know everything. Sometimes we need the support of the business sector. That is why your experience and your, of course, ability to expand on the business opportunities that you have, we can be able to assist you in providing a much better legislative environment and regulations that are conducive to growing the business sector for many, many years to come.
And we now join Gary from HFC Bank with the latest from the money market.
The Japanese yen and Australian dollar stumbled after Washington announced the plan to slap tariffs on $200 billion of imports from China, escalating tensions between the world's two biggest economies. A U.S. trade representative said that the U.S. would impose tariffs of 10% on Chinese imports worth $200 billion just days after its tariffs on 34 billion Chinese goods took effect. Meanwhile, in July, Australian consumer sentiment has jumped to its highest since 2013 amid growing economic optimism and the prospect of future promised tax cuts. Due later tonight are the Canadian Monetary Policy Report and interest rate decision and a speech from the Bank of England's Governor Carney. And that's the latest on the foreign exchange market. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, Gary. Taking a look at today's currency exchange rate set this morning for the Fijian dollar. Our dollar made gains against the US dollar, the Kiwi and the euro, and it slipped against the other currencies we cover. As for the commodities market, prices were on the rise, with oil remaining fairly steady to close at $74 a barrel. Gold closed at $1,253 an ounce, and silver was down to close at $15.95 an ounce. And in growing Fiji tonight, the National Fire Authority NADI station today received a new Toyota Hilux vehicle from the Wananavu group of companies, with NADI recording 210 fire calls in the first 5 months of this year. The new vehicle will be used to conduct follow-up reports following the fire, leaving the fire trucks on standby at the station. Philippa Nakaso has more.
Using the fire trucks to conduct follow-up reports will now be a thing of the past for the NADI fire station officers.
In noting that our firefighters were in a fire truck to conduct investigation,
Usually due to sort of vehicles and things, our boys are usually conducting fire investigation, and also at the same time on standby. Should there be a fire call, to respond to the fire call.
The company hopes that the donation will be of great advantage.
What happened then another fire somewhere in NADI town or just like far from NADI town. So I asked station officer Mr. Muhammad Ibrahim, then you got no smaller vehicle, then they said no. Then I think that day I donate one vehicle.
This partnership will enable NFA to increase its reach into the surrounding NADI communities and conduct fire safety compliance inspections and also fire safety awareness.
The new vehicle cost $89,000. Felipe Naikaso, FBC News.
And that's it from Business Tonight. Jamie joins you now with sports.
Thank you, Rachel, and good evening in Sports Tonight. Suva women's team eager for Skipper Cup final challenge.
Hi, I'm Jyotishma. I'm from Singatoka. I love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM is #1.
I'm Charlene Robert. Mirchi FM rocks in Lambasa.
I'm Soname Nasari Jackson. Mirchi FM is hot.
My name is Raymond Dutt. I'm in Baba Singh Alliance. Mirchi FM is hot in Lambasa.
I'm Pritika from Jax Nasori. I love listening to Mirchi FM here in Nasori. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama has confirmed that he will be attending the Sevens Rugby World Cup in San Francisco. The Prime Minister told FBC Sports that he'll be attending as a guest after being invited by World Rugby and is confident that the Fiji Sevens team will perform well at the tournament.
The message is always to get them to do their best. Of course, they'll do their best. We all know that.
The Fiji Airways men's sevens team has played 3 days of competitive rugby in Utah as they prepare for the World Cup next weekend. Coach Gareth Baber says they've also played to the same format, which will be used in the World Cup next weekend. He adds the players were taken through some grueling sessions and he's impressed with their progress.
We approach it really, we work it back in towards our training and how we train. We've just come off the back of a 3-day training block, which was to mimic overwork the players through that 3 days with similar sort of processes.
It's been a dream run for the Suva rugby team in the Skipper Cup women's competition. Going into the final as the only undefeated team, the question now is, can they pull off one last win where it counts the most and go down in history as winners of the inaugural women's competition? John Tambori reports.
This Saturday is going to be history in the making, and the Suva women's team is not leaving anything to chance in becoming the first ever winners of the competition.
The full 34-member squad are in training, and that's an indication that we're quite serious with our preparation for Saturday. To the finals, what we've spoken about is we are going to field the 15 best players from Suva.
Coach Eleanor Kunatumba has rated their opponents highly, saying Malolo will be out to create a major upset.
Despite their first round loss to us, they've come out firing, they've been performing week in and week out. We could see the scores that they've been thrashing their opponents. But for us, it's the 10 players that we need to shut down. We're not picking out anybody. But
winning the first ever Skipper Cup has been an objective for this capital side. And with the finals this Saturday, Captain TALICA VODO has been stressing this point to her teammates during training.
The goal is we've come so far. This was our aim from the beginning of the Skipper Cup, and our aim is to reach the final and to win the first Skipper Cup for the women's rugby.
The Women's Skipper Cup competition has been a success in its debut year. Now with the game expanding to a full 15th game next year, one can say women's rugby here in the country is certainly heading to an exciting future. John Tabori, FBC Sports.
Over $2 million has been allocated to the Ministry of Sports from the 2018 national budget for the development of rural sports complexes. Sports Minister Laisine Tuitumbo says the grant will enable them to start the final phase of construction on the stadium in Vunisea Kandavu, with the project expected to be complete by the end of the year.
Phase 1 is the construction of actual field. Phase 2 is the embankment, building of embankment, earth embankment. And phase 3 is the building of the stadium, a small wooden stadium and a multi-purpose court.
France coach Didier Deschamps is now one match away from winning his second World Cup after his side beat Belgium 1-0 in the first semi-final this morning. Deschamps was the captain of the side which lifted the World Cup 20 years ago on home soil and now prepares his side to face either England or Croatia in the final. It's been 28 years since England last played in the semi-final of the World Cup and 52 years since they've made it to the final. And while they've impressed many by making it this far in the tournament, they don't want the journey to end tomorrow morning. The British High Commissioner to Fiji and her staff are eagerly awaiting the English football team's match against Croatia. The Commissioner has organized a special staff get-together early tomorrow morning to cheer on the Three Lions. Meli Tavanga reports.
The British High Commission is hyped up as its staff put on the favorite white and red color, showing their support towards tomorrow's game.
There is an enormous amount of excitement in the UK for this. This is the first time that England has been in the semi-final since 1990.
British High Commissioner to Fiji, Melanie Hopkins, says when the game is on, they may break out of their normal British reserve.
High Commission, our staff and families will be getting together to watch the match. But if England do win tomorrow, I think you'll be able to hear the screams of delight and joy.
She says the team hasn't been tested and tomorrow's game will be a nail-biter.
It's a talented team, they're well organised, but we really hope that this will be the moment when Gareth Southgate's team can break through.
Our fans want the cup taken home to England.
England is the underdog and I'm rooting for England. England will surely win.
In terms of the historical link with Fiji, I would bank on England to win.
Football is coming home!
The English side appears better prepared than it has been in decades. Much credit to the coach Gareth Southgate. Meanwhile, England will take on Croatia 6 a.m. tomorrow in the second semi-final. Meli Tavanga, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, Croatia coach Zlatko Dalic has admitted that he himself is surprised at how well he and his team has done at the World Cup so far. However, he says it's all or nothing from here on out, beginning with their country's first semi-final appearance since 1998. The New Zealand men's and women's sevens teams are aiming to become the first to win back-to-back World Cup sevens titles. The Black Ferns are banking on their proven squad of winners to create history, while the men are looking to fresh talent to do the job. That's it from Sports Tonight. Angie joins you later on with weather, and in new media, Fijian Elections Office launches live feed. Details after the break.
Narang golesenya, awama kita nakas, dorong-rong na kape, na radio Fijuan, nandong ibit.
Ayaw benyana, ito barong na radio Fijuan, nandong ibisi, hindi natoka.
Guado ilaisa ingatoka, rong-rong na heramakawa na radio Fijuan ingatoka.
Radio Fijuan, nandong ibiti.
In new media tonight, in a bid to allow Fijians to watch the process of the upcoming 2018 general elections, the Fijian Elections Office yesterday launched their live feed. The live feed can be accessed through their Facebook page on Fiji Elects 2018. Supervisor of Elections Mohammed Saneem says the feed is currently being tested in their warehouse in Lauvala Beach, where all the pre-poll ballot boxes are stored. The launch was done together with the introduction of the FEO Result app. The Result app is available and can be downloaded from the Apple and Google Play Store.
So in the event there is a verification, or as there are some claims about the security of those ballot boxes, Fijians will be able to see it for themselves to assure their own personal preferences.
It's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. More great sunshine came our way, such fabulous conditions without any rain. Who wouldn't love that? Our nights are getting so much cooler, so prepare well for that. Taking a look in the west, so pretty and gorgeous conditions, well, I'd say it was good for moving around and doing things. Eastwards from Pakaba to Suva, it was muggy, expect light showers later tonight. And up north, sunny spells were quite comfortable. At sea, southeast winds gusting to 25 knots with rough seas. For the tides, low tide at 10:55 p.m. with high tide at 5:12 a.m. Sunrise at 6:38. For tomorrow, this great deal of sunshine is set to continue, but it will also be accompanied by light drizzles. Tomorrow's temps, the centers will most likely see the 30-degree mark. And looking further on to Friday, we might see showers rolling in for many areas of the country. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fijian Pulse tonight, we asked, who are you tipping to win the second semi-final between England and Croatia tomorrow morning?
I'm hoping for England to win, but Croatia looks like they're an underdog as well. So it's two underdogs meeting head-on, so that's like a fair challenge. So yeah, my thoughts of it are, I hope England win.
I can see that they've been consistency in their game, so I think they'll give England a good game for tomorrow's game.
Harry Kane is my favorite England player, and they will win.
I think England will win because they have a good team.
My favorite team is England, and they will win the semi-final.
Supporting England team, and definitely they will win.
From what I've seen in the quarterfinals, I think Croatia is a team to beat.
Recapping the main stories for tonight. Minister lashes out at opposition for their response to the 2018-2019 national budget. Teachers terminated due to unethical behaviour, and transparent process in place for selection of advisory counsellors. Now for these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question segment this week, we're asking, should there be new approaches done to create awareness on diabetes? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day, this beautiful scene at Nathandola Beach sent in by Zoeb Zamal. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was the FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, stay safe. Good night.
मैं नवनीत नंद नंबुआ से जैसे प्रेनी नोट मशहूर है वैसे रेडियो फीजी 2 भी सभी जगह मशहूर है। रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
सीमा नकाशी से मैं रेडियो फीजी 2 पसंद करती हूँ सुनने के लिए। रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
मैं हूँ अंकल किंग सिंगाटोका टाउन के टैक्सी ड्राइवर। जैसे रग्बी फेमस है वैसे रेडियो फीजी 2 फेमस है।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।